Hello, everyone. Hi. Don't panic. What you're looking at is it's just a little shack, and it's okay. Anyways, I want to make this video on and the direction of this channel. Um, uh, so without further ado, I'm going to be jumping into uh some of the goals. Well, a lot of the goals. Um, This video is not going to be too long, but I'm going to put the goals and disclaimers because I wanted to make disclaimers of so you will understand before you make a commitment. I do appreciate subscribers in all this. However, people have to take into account that sometimes a lot of topics, different variation of lifestyles from different people, you, you don't always want to be subscribed to somebody, especially if it's like your main account, which you're always using for something, and you have to be really, I don't know, focused or something. But I'm the same way, so uh, yeah, like I have been doing a lot of follow for follow. So I've been trying to figure out if I can subscribe with one a different account or something, and you get people and they just come out and they're just they have like a lot of stuff to put out onto their channel. So um, I mean, some of the topics can be like what you call triggering, right? So that's what you call triggering. And I mean, I don't want to do that to anybody. It's not fair and it's rude. And there's a lot of it going on since I regained social media and stuff like that. Like I said in people's posts. So um, it could be, I think that the apps themselves, it would be appreciated if they, tried to enforce that a little bit more to say, well, this is a community and certain topics are a lot deeper than just, people are just not ready. And that is very, um, you know, uh, traumatizing in a lot of ways. And, it just brings up um, uh, a whole lot of things. I guess maybe you're just not ready um, or willing to go over and to be, have flashing across your mind. I mean, it's just, it could be a lot. Lots of people have different, lots of, illnesses and disabilities and stuff like that. And, you don't want to, like I said, I don't believe I'm any of those things. Like, some people, like, they'll have it really hard and you're not supposed to bring up certain things that are called triggering and stuff. And you know I just you just want to be like very mindful. That's the underlying part, is to be mindful so you don't and it can be really annoying, just like um annoying, I guess would be a better word, because that's how I really am receptive to triggering, where it's like it's a certain topic and it's just like, it's a little over the top. And it's always some topic that's just, yeah, like it's over the top, and it's like it's very strong um in the in the topic of it. Like, I guess you see, I'm gonna trigger everybody with the next word I'm gonna say. But yeah, so yeah, but yeah, it's always some topic that is just way too um okay. So here's the actual trigger warning I'm going to give you right now, right? So you're drugs. Okay, so if somebody wants to start talking about their habit, whether they are using freely and because it helped, is whatever, I don't know, to them, but they are just pop up in a group somewhere and they're just, trying to, introduce themselves and having a good time with it or something. But everybody there is not on that same journey. And some people, believe it or not, have never done that and don't want to. And some people are downright in recovery themselves and are, like, 10 years, 7 years sober and would do anything if you just go away, what I'm saying? So stuff like that. It's always something. I'm gonna bring some of that stuff up anyway. So I have some notes, and gonna get down to it all. Um, I'm gonna get down to my because this. I mean, I just figured I'd just make it. So you just guys just hang in there, and it's just a little disclaimer. I was gonna write it in the what you call it, the description box, but I think it'll be too long. Because I want to tell people, look, hey, because I know what it's like for it to just be, around a group of, influencers or people who are trying to be, boost their channels and stuff, and or you're gaining followers or strangers because you're trying to monetize and stuff. Because I've been doing that lately, and there's a bunch of people show up and they have a lot of things that are going on with their lives, right? And I'm just trying not to be that asshole. Oh, excuse me, I'm gonna have to blurb that out. I'm not just trying not to be that bad, whatever, that individual. And um, I'm trying not to. And nobody's perfect. I'm trying not to be so, um, you know, I guess I don't know, run people down with the, all the topics. It's just like, gosh, like give people a warning for some stuff. I figure it'd be great. Be better. So I'm gonna try to keep this video a lot shorter than 20 minutes or something. Um, okay, so just to get started, this videos channel, which I don't have problems with making these types of videos. One because it helps for well, the direction of my channels and my social medias in general is triggering. It could possibly be triggering to some people, right? So, that's what I want to include in this video. Um, and I am going to be going through a list of stuff that is um, possibly, um, not your taste, and you have to get prepared, for viewing and for listening and for anything or participating. So don't feel like you are obligated to do anything. And I'm just gonna go over some stuff. Like I just feel like um, it's not done enough. It's not done enough through people's you know social medias or whatever. So it's just something I put together, and this list is only a couple pages, only two, so it's not that long. It's not gonna take long at all. Okay, so just enjoy this. Like, I don't know if you see some birds or something. I have a mosquito net right here, and um, just enjoy the view because I'm just gonna be talking. You might see some other clips throughout the video. I'll be inserting something, or I don't know, like, I don't know, just a couple things. All right, so let's get started on this right here. Yeah, I'm just gonna be going through talking about some stuff because a lot of people are not shy, and I appreciate it. Like, I've had a long journey with a lot of stuff. I've had times where I've, been very alone, I guess you could say. And I have used social media. It's one of those sort of, not social media, well, I mean, I guess some parts of the internet, you could call it. Well, you know, okay, I just want to get this video done because I have something else I want to do, actually. But I wanted to do this just so that it's there. And so right. Okay. So I have some topics, and I'm going to get down to the most important. If I could just get my papers together. Let's see. All right. So, a triggering topic would probably be in Native American history, believe it or not. So, a lot of people, what I have here on indigenous, I am living in the United States right here in America, Turtle Island. There's a lot of debated name within this community and that community of what the land is called. However, I'm going to bring up indigenous affairs. All right. So, indigenous people are not, you know, gone from this continent. And I wanted to slide in that my, it's actually very triggering to me. So, I actually want to put in that I am having a transition from my original thinking of who I was as an African person, totally African, to my new um, my new discovering of Native American history, which is majority of my bloodline actually. And so yeah, that is something that you will see periodically if you haven't already seen on my channel, on any of my channels or social medias or anything like that, is mentioning of actual indigenous, because it has to deal with identity and it's very strong for indigenous people. Um, just let's see what else I have. Um, oh, I'm talk about residential schools. Um, and yeah, so I talk about residential schools. I'm not the type of person who wants to cover things and sweep them under the rug and just, stuff like that. It's not healthy to do that in a lot of situations. It's not um, it's not it's not good. It's not healthy. If you want to become a friend of somebody like me or somebody, I highly suggest that you you don't try to sweep those things under a rug and try to move on past them. And um, if you ever try to befriend somebody, um, so right there. And uh, yeah, so um, what else can I say about the topic? Um, right. And also, I talk about a lot of what's both, right? I have one side of my family with the weaker genes, which is on my mom's side, and that is African genes, and um, they're very straightforward about her side. However, I have my dad's side, and he had a long life of a lot of this and that, and it was very hard to um, come out of the closet or whatever you call it. And it has been a very difficult road with all of that stuff. Um, there's a so yeah, that's one of the topics that gets that's gonna have to be brought up sometime, and I don't want to be um like I'm saying, I don't want to be, having to push it down or just try to adjust myself to like um make somebody else's, comfortable level of something. So yeah, next topic is my African background, African, straight up from Africa, and that bloodline being very pure, I guess you could say, from me actually seeing my grandfather and my grandmother. So my grandfather is African. Yeah, he's 100%, and you couldn't not pull him out from being 100% African. He, from what I had seen him alongside my grandmother. So pertaining to that African bloodline, um, what I have here, and it's very important, is um, like I said, I'm huge on expressing myself, including talk therapy techniques, which are expressive techniques that are not what you call bottling things up. And um, Uh, let's see. Let's get down to stuff to deal with Black history. Um, let's see right here. So we're gonna put. Um, I have a lot of inclusive things. What I want to include on this channel. A lot of things that have to do with respecting my African bloodline, and um, especially um, let's see. Yeah, so you'll see me change my name, and a lot of times, and that has to deal with Malcolm X, for example. He changed his name, and if you, that's one of the things that you'll see me do a lot, and I do that purposefully to because yeah, the things that have to deal with black people. Uh, our black people around us who have direct African ancestry. Now, keep in mind that we have black people globally living who have always lived globally everywhere. They don't just live in Africa. Matter of fact, there are people right where I come from, which were called Seminole, where I come from over in the southern areas of Louisiana and Texas. They are indigenous to that area. Um, with There's enormous rumors about all that stuff. So yeah, there are black people everywhere. However, yeah, my direct bloodline and what I try to get involved with more to, it's like a recovery sort of thing. Which, yeah, it's like recovery from a lot of stuff that has to do with our ancestry and stuff like that. So, so right. Um, CB changed my name. That's what I wanted to bring up. That, and I do eventually want to make it a permanent name change. Uh, and that's something that I want to get involved with as far as organizing and stuff like that, because there's a lot of people who really don't want their names to be what they are. So, yeah. Let's see. Let me see if there's a third page. Sorry, just make sure I can find. Uh, what are some other topics that my channel is going to really focus on? I lost over 100 pounds. Okay, yeah. So that's a big topic, and that is a big thing. Um, my channel really I focus on uh tackling a lot of stuff what has to do with my health from every angle you can imagine. So it wasn't just about me losing weight. I have a very long history of bad health, including cancer, right? Including cancer, diabetes, um, high blood pressure, overweightness. So I have lost over 100 pounds. Um, the third thing to do with my health is I became actually a vegan, and that lasted over 10 years. And now I am actually adding crustacean, and I am getting into fish only. So that makes me a pescatarian for the last month or so. Another thing is I've had to deal with eating disorders, homelessness. I've had to deal with so this is all about my health, right? My first experience with homelessness was uh, I was it was in my childhood, and it was actually me and my mother, and I have very blurry like memories of it, but I was in a actually I was probably in a being pushed around in a stroller. I was so small, but I do remember it. I remember moving into different houses with my dad, and then so who knows what was going on? Like nobody knows. Like I will never know. So anyway, yeah, those are a couple topics. Let's see. Uh, for my diet and lifestyle changes, and uh, expressive therapies, which I've taken on myself. Scarring. Like you'll see a lot of scarring all over, kind of like all over my body, which has to deal with sometimes from other situations and people, but sometimes I had a cutting uh, episodes where what you call self harm, and I have tattoos also. So some people put that in the same category of so what I just mentioned. So you have let's see. And let's see. So yeah, I lost a lot of weight. That would be the first thing that you could put in there. It wasn't just weight. Actually, it was a lot of painful. It was really painful. So I had cancer. Uh, Let me just talk about cancer for a few minutes. Yeah, cancer doesn't really affect just one part of your body, and uh, it it was spread it a lot everywhere, and it is what it is. And yeah, from that and lots of inflammation and lots of other stuff. So I actually went totally plant based and vegan, and I became an animal rights advocate for a long time, and a lot of stuff like that. So uh, otherwise, yeah, I have um, what I just mentioned, all those things, and just going over, just looking, trying to make sure, not to make sure here, because I think I did really good on this. Yeah, I was at the park the other day, and I was like, let me do this, and I had this on hand, so I thought it was a good idea. Let's see. Oh yeah, suicide, actual suicide and suicide attempts, right? So I've done a number of them, and I have survived them. Um, and right, so that's all part of. And my last hard attempt was, let's see, it's been probably 15 years. I was in my mid 20s, and I am 36 right now. Yeah, so I was in my mid 20s. Yeah, I was probably in my mid 20s, about 24, and um, and yeah, a really it was a really big attempt which I tried to do, and I didn't get it done correctly, and and yeah, that was another one. That's another thing that comes up in and out of my channel. Um, Hair manipulation and pain and trauma recovery methods, right? So, as let's see, if you just probably a lot of people wouldn't understand this, but I had some issues growing up, and it had to deal with me and my mother. So she used to use, like I said, I'm not into suppressing things. So she used to use techniques on my hair, which perms were really kind of traumatizing for me. So perms would like they burn your scalp like crazy, and I don't like people trying to jump in and say, "Hey, that's just that's undermining," and "Hey, you need to do perms better." Um, so that and I had a very hard time with that, and what else I wanted to mention? Yeah, she used to press my hair, which is a hot comb, and it was literally put over a fire. It's a metal comb, and she used to drop hot oils on me. And to be honest, it was really, um, yeah, she used to do it just, she just wasn't paying attention. And it would hurt. It hurt bad. I would be burned a lot of the time. Burned and hot oil dripped. And I have scars on my arm. Um, uh, Yeah, I have scars still from my childhood right here. Yeah, so that is actually right there. That little discoloration is so small. It's like I'll just put an arrow, but it's right there. It's two little drops, but it's brown, and I've been having that since literally since I was about I don't know. I think I was like literally 5 years old. Yeah, I was about five. And here's another one. There's my tattoos right there, and I have that scar under here is from a surgery, which was a freak accident. Well, it wasn't a freak accident. I was in a garage, and I wasn't supposed to be in there by myself, and I was like five. Yeah, I was like six. And there's my hand because I have never fully recovered, and it hasn't gotten like taken off. Well, it did. That was the original what do you call it, accident. It was totally cut right here. I was on a garage door and it just ripped off. It's my whole entire pinky, and I've been through numerous surgeries, and this right here is because they needed some kind of tissue off of my wrist, and that big scar in the middle too. That's because I needed some kind of uh transfer from skin and stuff like that. Skin. So yeah, that's a couple things. I also wanted to say, I was going to say that what was I going to say? Uh, Hair manipulation. What was I saying? I was talking about hair manipulation, and um, let's see, what was I thinking of? Yeah. What was I going? I was going to bring up something. I was talking about. Okay, let me go back to the first page. Because I was talking about my hair and the trauma from. Uh, so yeah, I talked about eating disorders. Um, I had yeah, I was emaciated for a long time. I was way too underweight. Um, let's see. Yeah, I brought that up. Um, yeah, I'm a handicapped person. I have had plenty diagnoses of bipolar and schizophrenia disorder, um, as well as my cancer. And I had a major surgery on my. I had to have a tumor removed in my body, and yeah, I have no children, and my body has been really wrecked around, and uh, so what else could I mention about? Uh, oh, and some of the scars are. Uh, I have other scars that I have, self inflicted or whatever and stuff like that. Um, so, right. Um, Also, I don't like the stigma when people try to come at and to really attack you. I feel for having a diagnosis of bipolar. Bipolar is a broad term, and any doctor could tell you this. Any legitimate doctor that's not trying to hustle you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just gonna put that out there. That bipolar disorder strictly means that you have issues. Yeah, that's basically what it means. It means that you have probably 10 or more medium-sized problems that you've had to overcome in your life, and things like that. Then they'll break it down to, you have this and that happen, you have mood swings, you can't sleep and stuff and things like that. And I don't know, I guess people who just don't immerse themselves and are kind of scared, I guess, of getting themselves help and getting themselves better. I guess people who are like that, they don't want to, they don't like getting into inpatient things or outpatient or calling themselves bipolar or having anything to do with that. Overuse of medication has been an issue of mine too in the past. Crazy, insane overuse, right? And what else? And as far as schizophrenia is concerned, uh, or schizoaffective, or either one, right? Um, and I'm not sure. Sometimes I'll be honest with you. Like, even if I ever had schizophrenia, which is supposed to be defined as it's a state of where you have a delusion. It's audible, and sometimes this, and it's sometimes that, and sometimes a couple other things. I think that Hollywood gets it insanely wrong, right? Because I had a diagnosis when I was, I think, 22 years old. And that was when I first started to immerse myself into different types of therapies because I knew that I had a need for some, help and stuff like that. And I think that that is a big part. I'm sorry. Yeah, but that is a big part of people's confusion everywhere you will go. People see something on a TV show, I swear, or they'll see it in a horror movie, even worse, right? And they go around you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I've seen this before," and yeah, or it's stuff like that. And, oh my gosh, yeah, like, they label you as like a threat or to them or something like automatically. So right, I'll tell you honestly, from my experiences, I think that those are all broad terms and they're used very loosely around in psychiatric, places where you go either for therapies or just anything like that. I think they're used. That's my opinion and that's my assessment of those words, right? So I have been diagnosed, and do I accept them? Right, I kind of do. And as far as delusion and delirium, or what do you call those things? You have no idea how painful cancer is, and you will delusional. You will be delusional, and my cancer was in my childhood, so I was nothing I could do about my life at that point. However, right? However, yeah. Uh, However, yes. Uh, have you seen things and heard things that just weren't there, like really weren't there in your life? I mean, yeah, yeah. Well, it's not that you know people just aren't perfect. I'm sorry. What do you want me to say? Yeah. So anyway, I'm just gonna move on. And are my experience recent with those two things, and do I want to be perfect? Right. I think that's another thing. Is like people are just like, okay, yeah, you have some this and that and some this and that, and they kind of push you too much. Like, you know, like I have a sister who does that to me. And she's, oh my God, you're bipolar and you can't do anything, and you're never gonna be like me or something. Like, she just kind of does that, and she's like, oh, you're never gonna be like. I'm like, okay, yeah, but I think that's what people try to get with that topic. I think so. They're just like, yeah, yeah. So anyway, I'm really trying to finish this video. I was really trying to keep it under, but anyway. Drug use. Okay, so that's another very strong triggering topic. My dad was a drug dealer, okay? He did it for a long time, okay? He came from the 80s. So you can't blame anybody who came from that era, not really. That era was crazily infested with drugs. Okay, so get over your damn self. Everybody was going crazy. Okay, so he did, and eventually, I have experimented with. If this is too crazy and too out there, marijuana, right? So I had to, I had a little bout when I was, up to I think 20, and yeah, and up to that point, uh, yeah, honestly, 20 something, and marijuana was supposed to help me as a cancer patient. There you go. Yeah. But it never really helped, to be honest. Okay. Um, I've never done injection, and I've never done crystals, meth, or anything like that. And what else? Right. Mushrooms, no, I haven't gotten into that, anything like that. Uh, Cocaine, right? I had, and that's been a long time. I only did it like twice. And what else? Crack. Yeah, I did that like twice on a date, I think. Yeah. And anything else I can think of? No. I am telling you, I know myself too well. So yeah, I mentioned like four of them, and alcohol, right? So um, I'm on and off with that, and yeah, like yeah, I'm on and off of that. So I don't know how bad it is for some people. I just don't get it. But I mean, I'm off and on, and it's just something that, uh, I'm not crazy, with it. I had a drink, I think, what do you call it? I think 3 months ago. And it was, just a little cup. And, I couldn't even finish the whole thing. I went to a bar, I think, uh, a month ago, and, had something that was really great. But it's just, it's like something like that. It's like periodic, you know, and I don't feel like I have a crazy mood swings or just like anything that happens, and I don't feel like I have anything else going on with that. Um, oh, and I also am in the mindset that, yeah, let's see, what else do I have on here? Um, okay, so what else? Um, let's see, yeah, my first experimentation with marijuana was totally involuntary. I was way too young. It was ridiculous. And uh, okay. I think I actually got everything out in this video, and I can't believe I did it. Like, I thought it was going to be harder than this. And okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I've actually just finished. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Wow. Yeah, I just can't believe. Yeah, I was like, I wanted to make this video. Um, I'm just reading. Sorry. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So, I'm learning a lot about different races too. So, I am paying a lot more attention to people of color, which you would call. I read a lot of Gandhi's background. Uh, let's see, Gandhi, and I had a friend from Pakistan for a long time. Uh, and I'm learning about a lot more Japanese war and stuff like that when it happened. I'm visiting California and some stuff like that, and they have a war museum with Japanese people. So I'm paying a lot of attention to different minority groups, right? And yeah, so I'm learning a lot. I just wanted to say something for the last part of my video. And what is that going to be? Um, uh, oh, I had a really traumatic experience, and the last one would be, um, let's see, I had a really traumatic experience recently, and I am experiencing poverty, right? So I've always had lots of, poverty, more situations. There are going to be mentions on the channel of overpopulation. That's also really kind of triggering. Um, I did very well in my veganism. I could also say that veganism actually helped me just by expressing myself because it was my opinion when I didn't like to see certain animals or all animals because I didn't eat animals for years, for 10 years. I avoided them like crazy and I became an activist for them. But it helped me because I didn't like that and I didn't like to see that. And and it helps me, and I felt better. I just need to get that out. So yeah, it's like expressing yourself if that's how you feel when you see fish actually getting hurt and you see cows and birds actually getting hurt. I needed a space to express that. You see bugs getting hurt and I actually tried. Yeah, for actually tried for a long time, you know, for a long time and stuff like that. And mice, right? And another thing was mice. And yeah, so but I discovered over time that mice's um fecal matter was actually poisonous and you catch rat lung disease. Is insane. Yeah, so I went from being like insanely compassionate for stuff for animals lives, and then I discovered that. And then you have to kind of do what you have to do at that point. And that was actually in the middle more of my vegan. I was like 5 years into being vegan, and I thought like it could just be totally just you could just leave them out of doing anything to them. And I went on the FDA's website, I think, or the I think it was one of those .govs, and I was reading about mice, and PETA didn't mention it. Right? They of course they just didn't mention it at all. And yeah, so that's what happened. And yeah, then I had to buy mice, whatever traps for my house because it's like, well, I was allowing it and I was like, well, mice and they didn't bother me, ever, like as far as, bite you or just anything. So, I was just like, yeah. And then, one day I just discovered about their fecal matter and stuff like that. And it was like, well, are you gonna let them? And I was living next to a field for sugarcane in Louisiana, so right. So anyway, yeah, I had a really traumatic experience. It's the last. I'm wrapping up the video, so a couple more minutes. Um, so I had a traumatic experience with. I went to jail and I almost died due to smoke inhalation because there was a factory for sugarcane in Louisiana, and they built it and they switched it on, and my apartment was like really near, and it just seemed like they didn't care. But I almost died one night, and that happened a couple of years ago. I was like within 5 years, and um, the smoke was like it was extremely thick in my house, and it just didn't go away. And it was at nighttime, and I went to sleep, so that happened, and I went to the hospital for it. And shortly after, I didn't want to leave my housing because you guys, I was like, I'm trying to connect with indigenous roots for right, and that happened, and I was like, so where the heck am I gonna go, right? And I'm not making a crazy insane amount of money or anything. Um, so that happened. Then I got arrested, and I was sleeping in abandoned houses, right? Because I lost my apartment because of that. I was still in the same town, but I squatted a house like down the road, and it was abandoned. And it's a really tiny town, so I didn't think anybody cared. So yeah, and I got thrown into prison, in the local prison, and they didn't feed me because I was vegetarian, and I died literally. And yeah. So anyway, the last thing I'm going to put in here is I am grassroots. Where I'm a little bit more advanced in grassroots. I have a degree. Well, it's associates in biology, which I know a lot of things about climate change, environmental sustainability, and I know a lot about those topics, microplastics, a lot of things about all that type of stuff. I consider myself really good at that type of stuff. And one of my big achievements was in my little town where I come from. I convinced pretty much everybody, half of the town, to opt out of fireworks. So they all became educated, all because of me. Um, so other than that, like stuff to do with other types of pollution, recycling, lots of other things that have to do with lots of other stuff, even animal agriculture. You can check a lot of sources. They're really credible. They are really, really credible. So when you get into yeah, when you get into like even some stuff that has to do with, I guess, getting some kind of wools and some sort of uh but I think it's more on a factory level. I think that it is. It's more on a factory level, and it's more of a mass production levels. So it's like if you find this person doing this out in the middle of nowhere and they're catching some kind of animal for this and such as that, and it's not going to be the same crazy effects because you have a lot of these products put on the animal processing things, right? You have a lot of stuff that just leaks everywhere, does all that kind of stuff. And like I said, my sources for that type of stuff, I believe them really, really well. I think they're really good. So I'm not going to quit on that, on those topics. But yeah, uh, I think that it varies, and there are people everywhere who do it. You don't want to make everybody feel, bad. So yeah, my thing is that people up north, where you get people who are in survival situations, ice pickers, they eat fish. Okay, so could we just all just, I don't know, right? And so they have to get certain animals for also for their protective coverings, and that is, you get, I don't know what animal you would get, some kind of deer skin or something for your clothes, right? For your coverings, for your jackets, or for something like that, your boots. I don't know. Okay. So obviously, my last point is I'm going to make is my dad. He's a very light skinned individual. He's always been that way. My mom is not. However, I had to assess that in my mind to say, what am I doing to myself with all these things? And like I said, people for who are indigenously from northern areas, they don't live this not the same life as people who have always lived in the south. So you don't need those things, right? Um, it's different. That's what I'm saying. Uh, just a lot of things are different. So I'm like, indigenous, and then speaking in a more indigenous way, is it more possible that my bloodline has always done that thing, those sort of things like ice fishing or something? So it might be more possible. Maybe that's why I had to go back to eating and stuff like that for fish. So that's why I'm doing it right now. So I mean, it just, and I feel, I just feel better. So right, so I did take on veganism. Um, I did take it on for years. I did it for over 10, about 13 years. And right. And I'm not knocking anybody because it helped me. That helps me, but at this point I changed my mindset about it, and I start looking into my genealogy and my background, and that's the excuse that I come up with all the time. Okay? So I also want to kind of normalize that, but I want to put that out there as one of the things, right? One of the things, I don't think I have anything else to say on this video. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. I covered everything, and I'm so proud of myself, um, for putting that out there like that. Um, what else? Let's see. No. So I have everything about, I do petitions and other stuff. So yeah, so I think that is actually it. And I wanted to, like, I really wanted to put that out there. So I don't want anybody else to be, be ashamed of any of like stuff that has happened in your life and other things like that. And I'm working with somebody right now who's another, she's actually somebody from New Orleans, and she works specifically with trauma in Black communities and people. She actually works from it from a very spiritual standpoint. So I might be introducing her somewhere along in the video vlogs because it has to do with my with my spirituality. So she is. I just read her book and I have not reviewed it. Um, but I will be reviewing it. So I'm gonna put that somewhere. Otherwise, I hope you guys have really liked this video, and I don't know, maybe I'll slip a couple edits when I go over it to make sure that it's perfect. Okay, so thank you anyway, and for watching and everything like that, and thank you so much. Bye bye.